Okay, so this is the review of the fraction topic. As you can see, success criteria. We're looking to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. I'm going to go quite quick because this has been covered in class, and I just want to give a quick overview of the topic. Okay, so I'll go through some exam questions, and hopefully that gets us up to speed. So let's first of all look at this question: 2 1/3 plus 4/5. So what this is saying is, I've got, let's imagine it's pizzas. I always like that. 2 whole pizzas, 1/3 of a pizza, and I'm going to add 4/5. Now we can't add those fractions together yet because they don't have a common denominator. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that as 2 plus 1/3 plus 4/5. Now you could make that a top-heavy fraction if you want, but I think it just makes life more complicated by making the numbers bigger. Okay, so the 2, I could add that to another whole number in front of this. If that was 1 4/5, I could add those 2 whole numbers together. Okay. What I'm going to do here is add the fractions together, but first I need to do smiling across to make them the same denominator. Okay, so smiling across, there's my smile, which means I'm going to multiply the 3 and the 5. So that gives me my new common denominator of 15. And then we do the cross. So I've got, not a very good line, 5 times 1 is 5. And over here, 3 times 4 is going to give me 12. So the 2 stays where it is, and I'm adding these 2 fractions now, nice and simple. So 5 and 12 is going to give me 17, so I've got 2 and 17 15ths. Okay, this is obviously a top-heavy fraction. I don't like that, so what I'm going to do is rewrite that as 1 and 2 15ths. Okay, so if I add that to the first number, that's going to give me 3 and 2 15ths. Okay, so all I did there was said 17 over 15. Well, that's the same as 1 and 2 15ths, and I've added it to the 2 that I already had. Okay, simple as that. Subtraction is almost exactly the same. Okay, we're going to do smiling across to make sure that I've got my common denominator, and also I can just subtract the whole numbers. Okay, so 6 take away 2, let's do that first of all. 6 take away 2 is going to give me 4. Okay, and then I can also, to that, I'm going to add on the 1/5 take away 1/3. Now that says add, don't get confused because we're doing a takeaway. All that really means is and. Okay, I'm doing 6 take away 2 is 4, and 1/5 take away 1/3, which we'll work that out, and then put the numbers together. So it's a bit like saying 4 and this. Okay, but I still need to do my smile on across. Okay, so once again, there's my smile. That's going to give me, oops, gone smaller than I wanted there. There's 4. So the smile is going to give me 15 as my common denominator, because 3 times 5 is 15. And the 3 times the 1, and the 5 times the 1. So 3 times 1 is going to give me 3, 5 times 1 gives me 5. So on the next line, 4 plus, so 3 take away 5, that's going to give me negative 2 15ths. Okay, just the same as if you did 3 take away 5 is negative 2, I've now got negative 2 15ths. So what I need to do is take 2 15ths away from 4, because if I'm adding a negative, I'm taking away. Okay, so that's going to give me 3 and some number of 15ths, isn't it? Because I'm taking away 15ths from this. So it's going to leave me with 13 15ths. Okay, because I could rewrite 4 as 3 and 15 15ths, and I'm going to take 2 of them away. Okay, so imagine that. Imagine I've rewritten 4 as 3 and 15 over 15, and I'm just going to take away 2 from this bit here. Okay, and that's your answer. Okay, so next up we're going to look at sort of different. Now we're going to look at dividing, and then we're going to go on to multiplying. So when we did the add and subtract, the whole numbers I could look at together. Okay, I can add the whole numbers, take away the whole numbers, and I'm doing smiling across to get this common denominator. With the multiply and divide, we don't want to do that with the whole numbers in front. The first thing we do multiply and divide is make it top heavy. Okay, so to make this top heavy, I do 1 times 6 plus the 5, so that's going to give me 11 over 6. Okay, so that's my first thing to start off with, and then divide 3 over 4. Okay, Now the rule for divide is actually very similar to multiply, but the first thing I'm going to have to do is KFC. Okay, so that's keep, flip, and change. So I keep the first one the same, so that's 11 over 6. I'm going to flip the second one, so that's 4 over 3, and then I change the sign in the middle to multiply. Okay. Now you could now just multiply the top line together and multiply the bottom line together. Okay, so you could say, well, that's going to give me 44 divided by 18. You could do that, okay, and then start to simplify. However, it's much easier, I'll just rub that out with the world's smallest rubber. It's much easier if you want to do your cancelling at this point, okay? So we do the cross cancel in this direction and then in this direction, okay? So I'll just undo that last one. So first of all, these two numbers, is there a number that I can divide both these numbers by? Absolutely, I can divide both of them by 2. So I divide this by 2, that becomes 3. Divide this by 2, that becomes 2. Now look at this direction here. Is there a number that can go into both of these? No, there's not. They're both prime numbers, so I'll just leave them be. Okay. So now I'm going to multiply the top line, the 11 and the 2, to give me 22. Multiply the bottom line, 3 times 3 is going to give me 9. Okay. Can that go down any further? Check. No, it can't, and that's because I've done this section right. If I'd missed something here, maybe I would have had to divide further. Okay, but that's me finished. Okay. You could have written that, I suppose, actually as a mixed number as well if you wanted. So you could have called that would be 2 and 4 ninths. Just write that, or 2 and 4 ninths. You could write that as a mixed number. That's probably neater actually than this one. Okay, but I think actually you get the marks for both. And very last one in our short video, come to multiply. Okay, so we've done our add and subtract, and we've done our divide. Now it's on to multiply. That's the very last thing we need to know how to do. Oh, just get the screen right. So once again, I'm going to make it top heavy. So very first line, top heavy, 3/8, and I'm going to multiply that. So it's 1 times the 7, 7 plus the 5 to give me 12. 12 over 7. Now, as I did last time, do the cross cancelling. So 3 and 7. Is there anything that go into both those numbers? Nope, they're both prime numbers, so I'll just leave that out. 8 and 12, can I divide something? Can I divide these numbers by something? Yes, I could divide both by 2, but it's probably better to do for a higher number. I could divide both by 4. Okay, divide that by 4, that's going to be 2. Divide this by 4, that's going to be 3. And look, don't worry about this step. If you don't like this step, you can just, like I said before, multiply the top line, multiply the bottom line, but you're then going to have to cancel out afterwards. So at this point, to me, it makes the numbers much smaller, much easier to work with, okay? So 3 times 3 is going to give me 9, and 2 times 7 is going to give me 14. And that's me finished. Easy as that, okay? So I hope that was helpful. Just as a short video to go over the 4 basic rules of fractions. So adding fractions, you can add these 2 numbers together, yeah, to give you the 5, and then to add the fractions, you need to get your common denominator. So that was smiling across, okay? Subtraction is almost exactly the same. You can take away the number at front, your whole number, and then you need to do smiling across to get your common denominator. Okay. Multiply and divide are very similar. You effectively make them both top heavy, and then you multiply the top line and multiply the bottom line. The only difference is with division, you have to do your KFC to start off with, the keep, flip, change, and then it becomes a multiply. Okay, so for multiplying and dividing, make them both top heavy. For the dividing, keep, flip, change. And then to multiply, you multiply the top line, and then you multiply the bottom line. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for listening.